it so that we can see it later on. Yeah, this session is being recorded and the link will be on our Facebook if you want to have access to it. If you're here, it's probably because you've been teaching for the last few months or the last few years face-to-face in the classroom with the students. And now you're teaching online. And probably this is kind of new to most of us. Some of us have been doing it maybe for a little bit longer. I was doing some teacher training a few weeks ago online already, but this whole thing has come very quickly for most people. Now we're teaching online. And we need to have it clear, we're teaching online, and teaching online is not like teaching face-to-face. It's different. Some things are the same, but some things are different. And our challenge now is to try to take those things, those dynamics, that methodology that I had in the classroom, take it online. And this is what I'm going to try to do this morning. I'm going to show you some activities that I've been doing online with my students successfully. When we're teaching online, I think it's really important to have very clear objectives, because in my experience is that activities seem to take a little bit longer. So I have it very clear what the objective of the lesson is in terms of language, vocabulary, skills, and I'm realistic. How much can it get done in an hour when you're teaching online? How much can the students produce? How much can they do? How much can I do? What activities can I do effectively online? I think we need to be realistic so that we can plan effective lessons. We're going to start with the first activity. If you have any questions, like I said, I'm not going to stop now to answer questions because I would like to finish at 11:30, but I will have a few minutes after that to answer questions. And my email address is there, and I will be happy to do a session with you at some other time if you want to discuss how to do some of the activities. Very simple. What's the word? Can you guess the word? Can you put the letters in order? Whoop. This is something that I do a lot with the students. The title of this session is Engaging Activities. I want the students to be paying attention. So whoop, it goes. What was that? Can anybody write the answer in the chat? Do you know the word? I'll give you a clue. Oh, I can see some smiles. Oh yeah, more smiles. Now people say, now I know. Yes, thank you for the clue. So if this is the word, I will ask my students. Let's see on the chat. Yes, very good. What's the first letter? Can you show me the first letter on the screen? Let's see. Can you show me the first letter? If it's O or L. Very good. I can see some people showing me this letter, W. Which would be the next letter? Very good. Next letter? Some people are not showing me the letter. Yes, T. So anyway, you will continue like this, showing the word letter by letter. And then a little question. Do you like watermelon? What I'm finding with online teaching, which is interesting, is instead of doing like a grammar activity, a reading activity, speaking activity, I'm doing more like a little bit of grammar and speaking, a little bit of vocabulary and speaking. I'm breaking up the activities more and integrating the 4 skills together, much more than in the classroom. I don't know if this is kind of new to me with teenagers or because it's more effective. If you have the question, do you like watermelon? Then you can make it disappear. And you can ask the students to ask each other some other questions with the same structure. And you can take the help away. Something that you will see in the session, I do a lot of hiding things, giving them things little by little, This session is engaging activities. I want the students to be paying attention throughout the lesson. So I give them everything, but slowly. They need to guess, they need to participate. Again, similar, but for older students, you can, instead of giving them a picture as a, for support, you can give them some other information, like this is an adjective. Can anybody think of the word? There's nobody in the chat saying the word. It's an adjective. I'll give you. Very good, Helen. Yes. Oh, Richard. Wow, wow. Yes, wonderful. You're really good students. So again, you would elicit more letters. What's the next letter? You would give them a little clue. And in this case, a definition. What's the missing word? I'll give you half a second to think about it. Okay. With the students, you can elicit, they can write in the chat, or they can just think, yes, it's accidents. Yeah, you explain. To do this, it's much easier to, if you have a slide, you copy the slide and then you change the word. Instead of starting from scratch, you do one slide with all the things coming in and going out, and you just copy the slide so that everything is there. And the only thing you have to do is to change the letters or the word, but don't start each slide from 0, because that's a lot of time. I've done this reading with my teenagers like last week or a few days ago. And then what I did, I chose some key words and I hid them, and they had to guess the hidden words. Again, in a simple way. Can anybody think? Yes, this reading was about a girl who was studying online. So studying online was like a major piece of information. And then I had another one, and again, you know, the students had to guess. And I chose these two, and then we were discussing with the students. Study online, how do you like studying online? Advantages, disadvantages. She's going to go to a circus summer camp. How do you feel about it? Would you like to do that? So like I said, I find myself doing more, a little sentence, a little structure, a little bit of a discussion. How do you feel about that? Then we continue. It seems that the students get more engaged rather than spending a lot of time doing grammar or a lot of time doing speaking or reading. Following that kind of exercise, again, but you know, it makes a huge difference when you show it and then you move it, take it away. You want the students to pay attention. Whoop, what was that? This is a simple one. Yeah, and again, you could ask the students to give you the sentence and then say, what's the first word tonight? What's the next one? And they can give you the words one at a time. Yes. What can you do now? You can talk about it. Is it true for you? No, I'm not going to eat pizza tonight. Okay, what are you going to eat tonight? I'm going to eat an omelet or whatever. And then you move, take something away, and they have to make their own sentence. And you remove more and more and more. So eventually, after 3 students, they will have to make the sentence without any help. And then instead of tonight, you can say, okay, now tomorrow, make a sentence with tomorrow. Now you don't have to talk about what you're going to eat. You just make a sentence about something that you're going to do tomorrow. So again, with a very simple slide, you can spend a good, you know, a few minutes just practicing. In this case, is going to, it could be any other grammar structure. This is an exercise that I did last week from the book. It's similar. They had to put the words in order, but I did it online like this. They had to put it, they had to make the question, and then they had to ask another student, but one at a time. And then we would discuss that. And then okay, what's the question? And they would write the question in their notebook, and then they would ask each other twice or three times, 2 or 3 students, and then we would do another question. They would write it down in their notebook, and they would be asking each other twice or 3 times. Again, very simple, but just giving them one at a time. Like I said, I like to hide things, words, sentences, questions, and pictures. Again, the title of this session is Engaging Activities, activities that encourage the students to pay attention, to be with you, to be connected. So what is it? And now I'm going to ask you to write the answer in the chat. And the first one to answer correctly wins. Okay, what is it? Oh, that doesn't help, does it? What is it? I want that chat steaming. Oh, I can see some people already. Okay, some people seem to know. Yes, very good. Excellent. Wonderful. Well done. Yes, it's a scooter. If you do this, what language could you use? Obviously, it could be, it looks like, I think, in my opinion, I agree, I disagree, it looks more like a bike. Obviously, it's really important that when you do this kind of activity, that you give them the language that they want to use, like we do in class. It's not everything is fine. No, it's like you need to produce A2 language or B1 language or B2 language or C1 language, yeah? But that's you need to tell them. And then again, you discuss it a little bit. If you want to do something like this, like I said before, copy the slide, and then the only thing you have to do is replace the photograph. You don't have to create the slide from the beginning, because that would consume a lot of time. What's next? Very similar to what we did before. You show them a sentence little by little, and they have to guess. The whole point is that they make sentences. I have never eaten, I have never been to, I have never been to Madrid, I have never been to Morocco, I have never been to Mexico. Yes, very good. Obviously, in this case, we would be practicing present perfect. And then again, is it true for you? And then they would ask each other some questions, and they would make their own sentences, replacing Mexico with another country I have never been to. Then they could make positive sentences. I have been to wherever. Odd one out. The thing with odd one out, I think, is very simple. I think we know it. But my experience is that it's very basic. Sometimes it's like 1, 2, 3, yellow. And it's like, whoa, what's the odd one out? Well, it's very clear. But if you want to recycle vocabulary, make it a little bit more difficult. Which one is the odd one out, and why? Oh, yes, Amanda, Anna, they know. And why is it water? Yes, again, when you do something like this, it's wonderful when the students come up with different answers. Don't make it obvious so that there's only one answer. If it's only one answer, it's kind of boring. If there are more possibilities and the students explain why, it makes it much more interesting. This is good to recycle vocabulary. Talking about vocabulary, use the coursebook. I use the coursebook when I'm teaching online to save me time, to use the resources the students have. And this is very simple. I took the vocabulary list from the back of the book, I make a copy, and I hide either some words or some definitions. In this case, I've hidden words. And what's number one? You know that it begins with either A or B. You know that it's a noun. Those clues, the students need to develop those skills, and then they read the definition. And what's the answer? Yes, cartoon. What I do with the students, if I show them this, I say, okay, in your notebooks, write numbers 1, 2, and 3. And write the words next to the number. So number 1, write the word, number 2, and number 3. I give them 1 minute where I can drink water and relax for a minute, and then we can check one by one. And then, or what I can do, if this is their course book, I say, go to your course book and find out, because the students don't even know that they have a vocabulary section at the end of the book. So my whole point is I want to use the resources that the students have at home, and we use them in class so that they use them by themselves. And then for homework, my homework would be study the vocabulary for Unit 9, because next week we're going to be doing a little test to see. Using the vocabulary section and using the grammar section in the book. Yeah. If we're doing present perfect, you can give them this. They've probably studied this at the school. They've seen this before, but we want to practice. And I just give them the grammar from the book. And I say, oh, okay, now you have the questions there. Ask me a question. And I get them to ask me questions. Probably wrong. Wonderful. No, look at this. Now ask me a question. Look at the grammar. Ask me a question. Look at the grammar. Ask me a question. Yeah, the whole point is I give them the structure from the book, and then we put it into practice. They need to work it out. It's not that difficult, but they do make some mistakes. And then when it comes to answering the questions, I say, look at the answers. And then again, they copy the answers. When they answer wrong, I say, okay, look at the answers now. And eventually, you know, they improve, they pay attention, they work it out, and they can ask questions. The same thing with past simple or any other structure. So I use the grammar sections in the book so that they have a good model, and with that model, they use it to make their own questions or sentences. You give them this. Okay, now we talk about yesterday. Tell me something about yesterday, either positive or negative. Yeah, and they can see here. So didn't see. Oh, I didn't play, or whatever. And of course, I give them the help if they need help. The help is there. Yeah. With teaching online, I think part of my job is to guide the students even more and to give them the resources they need on the screen and kind of give them the task that they need to do in order to practice the language that we're learning. This is what I'm doing this afternoon. Well, this is what I did on Monday with my junior A2, and I'm going to continue this afternoon at 4 o'clock. What language do you think we're studying? I said, write a sentence in your notebook with the picture and enjoy. Some of my students, it was really funny, say, I enjoy, and I'm like, no, it's not you, it's the picture. Say, oh, she enjoys playing the guitar. Okay, very good. Some students had it right, some students had a little mistake. I say, okay, correct it. Now, write another sentence with a picture and that language. And they were getting the idea. It's like, oh, okay. Very simple. You're not looking for anything fancy. It's not about me. It's about the picture. Now, write a sentence. What language are we doing? ING and infinitive. I enjoy playing, but I want to play. And then the same thing with he, because by the end of this activity, they say, oh, okay, now we know. And say, okay, now write the sentence. And they were much more confident. Yeah, he enjoys drawing. He would like to draw a picture. And now this afternoon, I'm going to continue, and I'm going to have a picture of children so that they use they, and then they're going to talk about themselves. Today, yes, the students will be talking about, I enjoy doing this. I would like to go out and play. I want to do this. Yeah. Word search. I came up with this activity thinking about Easter, but I want to create my own. If you go to the internet and you say, make your own word search, I mean, there are tons of websites where you enter the words and you have the word search. It's very, very simple. But the key is, how do you do it online? Well, because I don't want this to take forever. So next week I want to do a quick activity to revise some Easter vocabulary. So I do it like battleships, so that then we have a reference. We can say B1 or E4. And of course, you say, okay, can you find any words related to Easter? If they say one at random, I say, okay, where is it? Because they could be saying, what would they say probably? You know, we're all thinking about egg, yes. Okay, but where is it? Are you making it up or did you find it? Oh, Paulina, E4, bunny. E4, oh, wow. Let's see. E4, yes. Very good. F1, wow, that's great. Excellent. F1 basket. Very good. Okay, that's wonderful. You're really good. With the students, you may want to give them some help. How can you help them? You can give them the first letter. One of the words begins with E. And you tell them where it is. I'm thinking about maybe older kids or kids. It's like, okay, it begins with E and it's there, A6. And that's the word, and that's the word. Okay, so you can give them more or less help as needed. Yeah, but I like to have the battleship code because it's fun and it's helpful, and you can do it faster because again you don't want this to take 20 minutes because that wouldn't be engaging probably. What's missing? This is a typical exercise in most course books, but what I do is I hide some of the words to make it more interesting, to make it more engaging. If we give them everything, they just don't pay attention. They just say, oh, it's there. But if we hide some things, or if they have to do something with that, they're more likely to pay attention. So I would elicit, okay, what's number one? Yeah, obviously we've been talking about health. What's number three? What do you do when you have, hopefully they will come up with different options, but it's a headache. And then you have 6 questions here. For me, this is one of the best activities to do online. You have questions, and what do you have then? You have answers. But this is what you have in the course book. Boring, because you have the questions and you have the answers. So if you give them the questions and you elicit possible answers, you say, okay, so how do you keep fit? Give me some examples. Oh, I eat vegetables, or I go swimming once a week. The students will come up with their own ideas, which is wonderful. So you go through the questions, you elicit some possible answers, say, okay, what's the answer to number 1? You show them the answers and you go back. So what was the answer to number 1? And the students literally go like this. Yeah, because they really want to say, oh, okay, what's the answer? Whoop. And when they have the answer, they put their hand, okay, so how do you keep fit? And they say, I go running every day. And it's like, oh, let's find out. Yes, I go running every day. Sounds like the right answer to question 1. Okay, question 2. Why did you go to the doctors? And then they have to find out. The challenge is that with this slide, all the students can remember the 6 answers. That takes me 10 minutes of very active work in the classroom. Well, not in the classroom, in my living room with the students, because they have to pay attention, they have to remember, they're making a small mistake, which is fine, they help each other. Yeah, so just play like back and forth. There's a big difference between this and this. Pen and paper, everybody. You need to have pen and paper. I want you to have 3 pieces of paper, and on one piece of paper, write A, B, and C. Are you ready? 3 pieces of paper, A, B, C. And I can see you all, remember, I can see Anna and Mark and Lisa and loads of people here. Sarah, Patrick, I can see you all. Okay, so what we do now, once you have your 3 pieces of paper, I'm going to, this is what I do the students to get ready for the key exam. You know, again, the first thing, they need to guess number 1, they need to guess number 2 so that they pay more attention to the activity. Yes, fishing, good. The question, pay attention to the question. Why did Alfonso send this message? Why did Alfonso send this message? And now you have to show me your answer. Is it A, B, or C? Let's see. People are thinking. Nobody wants to show anything yet. Okay, show me your answer. A, B, or C? Okay, yes, and now people are starting sharing their answers. Good. Yes, so the answer is C. Yeah, so the idea is that the students play with their cards. And once they make their flashcards, they keep them because when we have an A, B, C activity, we tend to use them. And the funny thing is, if I don't, they say, hey, Borja, A, B, or C. And I'm like, okay, fine. You know, show me your answer. If the answers are like single words, again, they could write them on a piece of paper. So, okay, write still on one piece of paper, write already. Okay, and once you have your 3 answers, have a look and show me your answer. Which one is it? Again, simple, but is more engaging and the students enjoy it. Imagination, when I introduce a text, I like to give them a picture, but instead of giving them the whole thing at once, slowly, and there's a lot of guessing. So where am I? Oh, I think you are, you could be, it looks like, you know, and eventually, yes, I'm at a concert. And then you do the page in the book. But it's a good idea to show them a picture bit by bit. This is something that I'm doing this week. For homework, I ask the students to find their favorite object at home and talk about it. And that's what they did.
This is my scooter and it's made of metal. This is my favorite scooter because it's a present.
Okay, you get the point, yeah? So show and tell is good for homework. Teaching is not only online when you're talking to the students, it's also homework. Stand up if, this is great for kids, for teenagers, and everybody. Stand up if you're wearing a t-shirt, and the students stand up. Stand up if you ate chicken yesterday. Stand up if you've got 2 sisters or whatever. It could be a stand up, or it could be touch your ear if, point to the floor, shake your arm, blink an eye, you know, any action. And then once the students do it, if they say stand up if you have 2 sisters, and then you can ask one of the students who's standing up, okay, what are your sisters' names? Or how old are they? Or wherever. A little bit of humor. This is something that I've been doing with my juniors and they enjoy it. I do a joke every lesson at the end of the lesson, and they're always asking, Borja, joke. And it's like, yeah, it's coming up if everything goes according to plan. So why did the student eat his homework? Can you think of the answer? And now my students know it's a piece of cake. When something is very easy, like, yeah, how was the exercise? And they say, oh, a piece of cake. And I'm like, good, it's a piece of cake, yes. Let's see if somebody has the answer. The dog wasn't hungry. Very good. I love your imagination. How do they answer? Can anybody suggest an answer? Very good. Yes. Some people are writing. Very good, Kelly. Yes. Yeah. And again, simple jokes for to finish the class, or as a summary. Loads of things jumbled up, questions, sentences. I hide things. I give them sentences, words, pictures slowly, a little bit at a time, so that they have to guess. A lot of what's coming up, what's next. Things like odd one out, where they can come up with their own answer, is more engaging than when it's very clear. Yeah, we give them 3 past forms and 1 infinitive, and it's like, oh, well, there's no debate there. Use the course book. Yeah, very useful. Write a sentence. Remember the girl playing the guitar? Write a sentence with enjoy. She enjoys playing the guitar. We're looking for a specific language. Vocabulary, if you want Easter activities or something like that, that's an option. When we do the matching, it's much better, in my experience, to give them the beginning of the sentence and the endings on different slides, so that they have to remember either the beginning or the end. Show me your answer, A, B, or C. Show and tell. This is great for homework. And this week for homework, they also have to make a video of their house and their family, and they have to send me the video, and I'm gonna show them the 2-minute video about their house and their family. You know, since they're at home all day anyway, and obviously they're making the video and they're telling us about their house and their family. And I asked them to add music if they wanted to make it fancy, a bit more like a project. If they just want to send the video, fine. This is important for kids and for everybody, just to move. You know, halfway through the lesson, it's a good idea to do TPR, total physical response, and a little bit of humor at the end. It's a nice way to end up the class. If you enjoyed this session, we will have, hopefully got recorded properly, and we'll have the link on St. James's Facebook. And next Wednesday, I'm planning to do a session more for young learners. Yeah, again, half an hour with a wide range of activities for young learners that we can do online easily. It's 11:30. It's a little bit after 11:30. So this is the end of the session. Thank you so much for being here today. If you have any questions, I've got 5 minutes because we have another session at 12. So we need to finish in 5 minutes. And like I said before, you've got my email address. Get in touch with me if you have any questions that I cannot answer now. Okay, thank you very much. Let's see if we have any questions in the chat before we go. IT skills is, like I said, is not very difficult. You just need to know how to make things appear one at a time or disappear one at a time. I'll be more than happy to do a session on that. I didn't want to do it today to take too much time. I use Google Slides. I think, you know, for me, it works great. But just to give you an idea, if I'm doing something like this, what I do is I copy the slide. I say duplicate the slide. So this is another slide. Instead of a study online, I want to hide something else. For example, so this is what I want to hide. I hide it and I put this back. And then I've got another hidden, I should hide that a little bit better. Yeah, but it's very simple. Just copy the slide and replace it.
Borja?
Yes?
They were asking about what you're using to make your slides.
Google Slides. I go to, I've got a Gmail account, and I've been using PowerPoint for years, and PowerPoint is fine. I like Google Slides better. Is more simple, and I can have access wherever I am. As you can see, I've got loads of presentations. You open, you have a basic slide. And like I said, it's simple. It's not very complicated. Once if you watch a tutorial, you will see that once you know how to design one slide, you can design anything. And probably this is what you need to know, how to make things appear and disappear. You have this, you right click and you go to animate. And then you can it can fade in, so it flies in, or fade out, it disappears. Yeah, so if it's like this, then when you click, it disappears.
Or has somebody asked about breakout rooms?
Breakout rooms, yes. Thank you for asking that. I'm going to use those this afternoon with my students. I'm not gonna do it now. If you want, we can do it next week. But basically, is you send students to their own classroom in their own group. But like I said, I don't have time to do it now. Maybe next week we can have a session. Again, breakout rooms, I think is good, but because I've been practicing things for this session, I haven't been doing breakout rooms. I'm gonna do it this afternoon. It's not that difficult, but you can watch a tutorial on the internet, or if we have time, we can look at that next week.
And somebody also asked about how they get their videos to you.
Well, it depends. I'm giving them flexibility. I don't want to, to stress anybody out. And some people are sending the videos as attachment. Some students are sending me links and they have it saved wherever they have it saved. So I'm just trying to get videos. They're also sending me photos, which is something that I think is very useful. Let me see. Yeah,
while you're looking for that, I'll just clarify the fact somebody was asking if the link is going to be the same for the Young Learner session. No, you'll have to look on Facebook and click on the link for the Young Learner session. It'll be a different link, okay?
Yeah, and again, with videos and photos, photos are easy to find. The students are sending me photos with the parents' permission always, yeah? And we'll be using photos to talk about present continuous, past continuous. This was my photo on Monday. What were you doing at 6 o'clock? Oh, Eric was doing his homework at 6 o'clock on Monday. So the more interaction we have, the better. And the videos is little projects. How are they gonna send them to me? Like I said, some of them are sending me links or the video itself as an attachment. More things? Okay, you've got my email address. Send me any questions. I enjoyed doing this session. Next Wednesday at the same time, I will be talking more about kids. So if you want to be here next week with us, I'd love to see you then. Have a good rest of the week, and I hope next week you can have a little rest. Bye-bye.